This is Chris with Service Industry Empire. This is our Build, Grow, Maximize podcast, where we help you build your brand, grow your business, and maximize your potential. Today, I have a special guest, Eric, owner of JobTread. It's a CRM system, a computer software system that you can use to manage your projects and your clients. We're going to talk about job costing, consistency, and staying organized, and how those aspects can help you build your brand and build value for your business and your clients. And if you haven't already, I would like to give you a copy of my book, Build, Grow, and Maximize, How to Maximize Your Business, where I go over the 5 key pillars of your business: your mindset, the importance of systems in your business, the importance of marketing and sales strategies, your team, and knowing your numbers. Also, I talk about lifetime client value, getting paid what you're worth, and building value. All you need to do is go to serviceindustryempire.com/book and get your copy today. And here's the interview with Eric and the owner of JobTread. Thank you. Welcome to the Build, Grow, Maximize podcast, where we help you build, grow, and maximize your business. I'm here today with Eric with JobTread. He's here to tell us a little bit about his story and his CRM system that can help you build, grow, and maximize your business. How you doing, Eric?
Doing good. Appreciate you having me on, Chris.
Yes, sir. So give us a little description and story about how you got started and where you're from, and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and did my undergrad at University of Texas at Austin. So hook 'em horns, any of the Longhorns out there. We basically ended up my first job out of college. I worked at a boutique investment bank. Shortly after that, ended up starting my first software company, where we sold software to colleges and universities. Basically built it over a course of 9-10 years, and we were acquired in 2015. We took it to about 650 universities in 13 countries, had over 20 million users on our web application, and got bought by a private equity firm who 1 year and 1 day came in and fired my CFO. Basically gutted the company. So I learned the hard way why not to sell your business to a private equity firm, and that certainly won't be happening again. But it was after that a buddy of mine was running a construction company here in Dallas, and he was just, hey man, can you come out, help me figure out how to scale the business? And so said sure, let's go check it out. And basically day one when I walked in, I just saw the chaos, papers and binders, folders everywhere. People coming, turning in their timesheets at the end of the day, and it was just pretty disorganized, if you will. And so I was just like, man, you guys clearly, we just need to get you organized. You need some software here. And so I went and I looked at everything out there from, Buildertrend, CoConstruct, to the big guys, Procore, things like that, all the way down to Jobber. I mean, I looked at everything, I tried it all. And at the end of the day, though, I struggled to make a recommendation for them because, it either felt like the software was, pretty antiquated, or it was going to take a lot to, get it customized and set up for our company to work the way we wanted it, or super expensive. And, so at the end of the day, the guys are like, well, look, you're a software guy. Can't you just build us something? And it's like, well, I don't want to create another one-off. You'll have to maintain it, and, all sorts of issues could come up. And, they kept pushing me. And so finally I said, all right, my conditions are I take over CEO, I give you 1 year, and everything I build is my intellectual property. So if we create something here that's, got potential to become my next company, then, I'd have that option. And so they agreed, and, basically just took over the company, and we started at the very beginning of, okay, let's get all of our, ducks in a row. Let's start with our, our CRM, getting all of our customers' information, all of our subs, suppliers, gathering all that into one place. Then we went into the estimating process, and, it was really interesting. I learned a lot about, how, price can be calculated. And really what I found out is that some of the guys were using markup to calculate the price, and some of the guys were using margin. So we were targeting a 30% profit margin on our jobs, but some of those guys were just marking it up 30%. And so we were basically shooting ourselves in the foot right out of the gate. It took me a while to figure this out, seeing these guys, like, like, why are these guys always underperforming? And, so I was like, all right, look, forget all this. Like, we built a budget tool where they could essentially figure out what was a job going to cost them. And then they input all their costs, and then we, just automatically add the 30% to come up with the price. And that was a huge win for us. Obviously bumped up, our gross profit there in a lot of jobs. But then we kind of got into the, the operations, the execution of it. Making sure that we're signing out all of our, our work orders, the subs, collecting, POs and getting them to bid on jobs. Was a huge thing for us. A lot of times we were, before I started, we were basically running our jobs time and material. And so we would sell the job fixed price, but then, our subs would be paid based on how long it took them. And so obviously, what I figured out is they were, just dragging these jobs out. They'd go to the store and hang out there for, half the day, and, they're still getting paid. And so, it caused a lot of issues there. So once we started using POs and work orders, we kind of were able to tighten the ship there. And then kind of at the tail end, we just integrated it. They were using QuickBooks Online. But at the end of the day, essentially I helped grow them from 5 to 8 million in sales in that 1 year, and we increased their gross profit by 43%. So I knew we were onto something good here with these guys. That was back in 2018. And then essentially at the end of that year, beginning of 2019 is when I just recruited some of my developers from my last company, said, hey guys, look, I got something, not really set up where we can go sell it though, because I built it very much just for that one company. And so they came in, they rebuilt it, set it up where we could, sell it. And so after a couple of years of building, we started selling in 2021, got it to, about 200 customers that year. Last year, we got to around 1,000. Right now, we're sitting just over 1,600. Our goal for the year is, 2,000 customers. So it's been a great journey. We've worked with, over, a couple thousand customers now, kind of helping, get them implementing this. Obviously didn't, early on didn't have all the bells and whistles that we needed. So we lost some of them, still working to win them back. But, we've certainly kind of come a long way since my first version of this back in 2018.
Right. And yeah, I guess like probably a lot of the contractors you talk to, they're pretty much in the same situation as the construction company you were working with, where they're really not as organized as they should be.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, that not knowing the difference between markup and margin, and you can think that you're being profitable, and that's not quite the case.
Yep.
Um,
That's exactly
yeah.
right. Can't tell you the number of times, like, we'd basically go run a job, and so then, like, essentially the person in the field, usually the project manager, let the the office lady, hey, go ahead and send that invoice. She'd send it, and then like she'd assume that the project manager would follow up and get it collected, and the project manager assumed she was going to follow up. Nobody followed up. We got, people just kind of disconnected, not on the same page working together. I mean, we basically ended up with $800,000 of AR just because we weren't organized and we weren't, working together, on the same page to make sure we're focused on collecting that, or, it could have been just like, I mean, another example, like we ran a bunch of work for, it's one company out of Houston, and every single time we did a fencing job for them, we would lose 10 to 12%, like consistently. And I was like, how is that even possible? Nobody ever stopped to do the job costing and to, track, hey, what did we actually make on this versus what did we spend? Where was the profit? Like, I suspected there could have been fraud or some sort of abuse or something, but it ended up, we were just using outdated pricing. Our material costs had escalated and we never changed the price to the customer, and nobody found out until I came in and started analyzing all that historical data to try to figure out, like, where are we losing money? Because you got to, you got to figure that out so you can quit making the same mistakes over and over.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation when you're looking at your bank account and what your profit should be, and it's not in the same ballpark.
Yep.
And you don't account for those little things. Like I said, using the right profit, and did your materials go up by 5% and you didn't pass that along to your client? Yeah, and even more importantly, sending the invoice out to them to make sure that you're getting the money you're supposed to be getting from them.
Yep. I mean, a lot of times we didn't even, sometimes the guy, and it's typically, one of the guys who'd been there longer. I mean, he'd basically go out, look at a project, just say, that'll be about $15,000. Customer says, okay. And so, he had the project manager, hand it to him and say, all right, go get us our 30%. The guy's like, how in the world did you come up with this? He had no idea, like there was no documentation whatsoever. And, we could get past that and we could figure that out and get the job done. But then when you go to send the invoice, someone else and, the back office is like, well, we didn't approve this. Where's the contract? Where's the signed agreement? It's like, what are we doing? We're like, it's not how you run a business.
Yeah. Yeah. Job costing is so important when it comes to your projects. And everybody being on the same page. Like I said, if one person has to be in line with what the next people are doing. That way you can make sure you're maximizing and staying profitable and efficient. Because if you don't have those systems in place, then things just get lost in the shuffle, and that can cost you a lot, time and money. And
I hear it all the time. People feel like, they're just like, oh, I don't have the time to do this, or it's, it's going to be so expensive, or, I don't have the systems in place. Like people are great at coming up with excuses, but at the end of the day, it's like, this is your business. You're pulling in a bunch of money, you're spending a bunch of money. Like if you don't sit there and track it, then, who knows what you're going to have to show for it at the end. Like, just taking the time, and there's lots of software options out there. Like get something in place where you're going to basically be able to track every single cost and attribute it to that job. I mean, I've had multiple customers who've, through using JobTread have found out that their own employees were stealing from them, their subs were stealing from them. There were so many different, like, just situations. I mean, I've had partners embezzling money, like just it's horror story after horror story. And it's like, man, like if you would have just been organized from the beginning and tracked all of your expenses, track all of your job costs, like understand where is that money going, like it's well worth the time to make sure that you're managing it, like, and especially as you grow, I mean, if you're just doing, a couple $100,000, sure, maybe you feel like, okay, I'm only managing, one or two jobs at a time and I can keep up with it and sort of, looking at my credit card. But like, as you keep building your business and as you keep growing your business, like you got to have systems in place that are going to, help you scale. And you have to have those processes there so that you make sure that you don't have any of these, situations where you're just, hemorrhaging money out of the back end and don't even know it.
right. Yeah, it's easy to think that you don't have the time or the money to spend on certain aspects in your business, when you're in reality, you're losing so much time and money not having something in place where you can have a system and process to follow each and every time. Because then you can train somebody else. Hey, this is how we do it, A, B, and C, rather than just, well, sometimes we do this, sometimes we do that, and hope we don't forget this. But if you have an actual system where you can keep track of everything and put everything in place, that's money and time well spent, because that's going to save you in the future. Spend the time now to go ahead and put those in place, and then you can have that to where you're not rushing or trying to put out as many fires, because you know exactly what's going on. And keeping track of all that is important. Like you said, if you don't know if somebody's stealing from you or where the money's going, that's out of your pocket and out of your family's pocket.
Yeah, I had this, this one lady. She did a lot of like landscape, hardscape type jobs, and she ended up finding out that basically her crews were going to Home Depot. They were overbuying material, and then they'd go do the job. They'd take all the excess back to a different store, return it for store credit. And she kept thinking like, man, where is all the profit on this job? Like, how does this keep happening? She wasn't tracking it. And then when she finally started tracking it, it was like, wait, I had, a couple $100, for this thing. And, why are we at $600? And like, they start to like figure out where, where it's going, what's happening. Like, there's so many cases though, where like, if you don't have something there, like, this could be happening all the time. You hope not. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but man, like, it's a business. You got to track it.
Right. Other than the systems and processes and helping be able to track what you're doing, what are some of the other benefits of having a system like yours?
Sure. I mean, I think, with JobTread, again, I mean, it's going to help you get organized. I think from, even just a branding and a professionalism standpoint, being able to send out, electronic, proposals where, the customer can come in, they can, make selections, kind of adjust their budget based on what they want in there. They can, review the contract, sign it. You're making it easy now for customers to become a customer of yours. That you've got a well-branded, proposal there. They've got a customer portal. They've, it's all electronic, right? And so if you're competing against somebody who's still, writing out a proposal that, they probably, homeowner probably can't read, like you've already got a leg up there by, being a lot more professional, leveraging technology, and again, that's going to, really kind of instill, a lot more confidence that homeowner is going to want to move forward with you, because, you got your ducks in a row. If someone else comes out there, and gives you a sloppy looking proposal with very little detail, you're not going to feel comfortable moving forward with that person. So I think with JobTread, what we do is we allow you to very quickly build out, these job budgets, send out these proposals. And so now you're also being way more responsive. You're showing that, your numbers, you can do this, you can do, many jobs. You're not just kind of coming out here and just, I'm going to work on this, estimate for several weeks. Like, no, like, you understand your business and you can get this job done. Customers buy from people they like, they buy from people that are easy to work with, so when you're responsive, you show the detail, you show the professionalism, it's going to help you win more jobs, and ultimately then once you've won the job, being able to have your schedule and manage all of your crews, whether they're employees or whether they're subcontractors, you got to schedule these things out. You got to have a good understanding of when you're going to start that job, when you're projected to end that job, and if, again, things may come up, you may have to shift out the schedule, but being able to understand the impact of that is going to, again, help you to better provide that transparency and better communicate the status of the job with the customer, with your homeowner there. So I think those things, are huge. I mean, being able to just collect online payments, again, I mean, I'm a big believer in you need to collect a deposit up front, collect along the way, obviously depending on the length of the job. I mean, if it's a, couple $1,000 and it's a, we're going to get in and out in a day. Okay. Maybe you don't need an upfront deposit, but if you're talking about several days or several weeks, if you got to put out a bunch of money up front for materials, then yeah, you need to be collecting that deposit up front. And, with JobTread, we make it easy for you to, make those online payments with credit card, ACH, Apple Pay, Google Pay, things like that. So, I think those are a lot of the, probably some of the other, other benefits there, being able to have your accounting system stay in sync though with all of your jobs as well. I mean, whether you've, got an in-house bookkeeper or you've outsourced it, whatever it is, like you need an accounting system tracking, all of the, the books. And so, having that, in place with JobTread is a great way to make sure that all the right data is flowing in there.
Right. Yeah, it helps you be able to provide more value for your clients to be able to do stuff like that, to give them a branded, customized not invoice, estimate on the project. It's going to help you set yourself apart from other competitors who just may write it out on a piece of paper, or I'll get back to you within 2 weeks, or you may not even ever hear from them again. But it helps you bridge that gap between the value and the price, so you can actually charge a little bit more money because you're more professional and you have all the stuff in one system where you can do that.
Yep. And I think too, like having a well-documented project up front, your scope of work, that's going to also set you up for if there is a change, if the customer decides they want to do something else or add something else or whatever it may be, now you've got the ability to go in and quickly get a change order to them and say, yeah, hey, we're happy to do that, but there's going to be a cost, and send them that change order. So many times I see contractors that they just want to say yes all the time, but like they don't realize that, again, like now you're just eating out of your own pocket. You're taking money out of your profits to go and do things that were out of scope. But if you have a very loose written scope on a piece of paper that you can't even read, like homeowner's gonna say, well, we talked about this, and you're gonna say, well, maybe message sent wasn't message received, and now you're just in this tough situation because you don't have any documentation to fall back on.
Right. And that also helps you not to just, when you're getting that final check, oh, well, it's $2,500 more than you thought it was going to be, because we never really talked about the price or what it was going to cost you ahead of time. So being able to have a system where you can do change orders and have that detailed scope of work in and of itself is going to bring value to you and your clients as well, because they're going to have a well thought out system that they know exactly what's going to be done, and not just guessing off of the piece of paper that you sent them or the short email with the price on it.
Yep.
And with your system, who is your ideal client? Who's can best value from a system like yours?
Sure. I mean, we've specifically designed JobTread to work for any jobs-based business. So if you're in the construction industry and you're running jobs, we've got a system that will work for you. We see a lot more kind of where these might be custom bid jobs. So every job is a little bit different. You're having to build out a budget. But we work with everything from painters, roofers, to just general home improvement, all the way to, full remodelers, maybe even doing additions, pool builders, deck builders, all the way up to home builders and general contractors. We see the full gamut of, type of business and size of job as well. But, we wanted to very intentionally design it so that it could work for any size job, any type of job. At the end of the day, like you essentially build out a catalog of all your cost items, and that might just be, your labor and your materials, but there's other costs that could come into play sometimes. If you ever have to get a permit, if you're doing some demo and you got to haul off stuff and you got a dump fee, like, thinking about all of the cost, that go into a job, like that's what you want to organize in your catalog. And then you can create these budget templates so that you can very quickly build out a new job, populate the budget, add some things, remove some things, but you've got that starting point to make sure that you don't forget any costs that need to go into that project.
Okay. And you had mentioned that take payments and deposits, and you can pay customers can pay their invoice and everything right through your system.
Yep.
Does this give you the ability to select what kind of deposit you want, and like if you want a weekly recurring payment from them, or not recurring, but break it down into like 3 payments?
Sure, like a payment schedule and kind of track the progress payments. Yeah, absolutely. So, typically you would basically put that out in the original estimate or proposal, kind of detail out, maybe you got, 25% up front and then 25, 25, 25, or, however you want to organize it. But yeah, so the neat thing about JobTread is when you go create an invoice, you can either invoice for the whole job or you can invoice for a percentage of the job. And so every invoice will show you what's already been paid and then what's on this invoice, so that lets you kind of just invoice them along the way, which again, I'm a big fan of. Like, don't wait till the end of your job, because who knows? I mean, if this customer can't pay, they don't have the funds, so many things could come up that if you wait to the very end of the job, you're putting all of your risk and all of those eggs are all in that final basket instead of collecting along the way. And then if you don't get paid, obviously don't keep keep working. And so wait until you making sure that you're going to get paid, so our progress invoicing features is definitely a favorite of a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, that's important. And to be upfront with that, that way they know the expectations. Hey, a week or two from now, we're gonna be expecting another payment, and then another payment, and then your final payment. That way they're not blindsided when they get the invoice and, oh, you're not done yet. Well,
Yep.
you've already talked about that, and that helps you be able to have your cash flow as well and not have it all tied up into one project until you get that final payment.
Yep.
And being able to add the change orders on top of that and have that clear, that's definitely a benefit of a system like that.
Yeah. And one other thing that, we hadn't touched on too much, but like, so within JobTread, like, you can have these different document templates. And so like, your proposal, can also have your contract terms on it, and so a lot of times people, that they don't end up thinking they need a contract or something formal, but like, I can tell you 100% you do. You should always have some contract, something that they're agreeing to, like, even little things like, what's going to happen if something out of scope comes up, like, again, you're going to issue a change order. Things I hear all the time, like, let's say that, you bid a job, and they don't accept it for, several months or whenever it is, like, but the price of the material could have changed. I mean, that's where a price escalation clause can really help cover you from getting stuck with, that lower price. A lot of times too, like, and I didn't realize this, but we have a legal partner who she actually does fixed price contracting for all of our customers. If you need, she was saying and explaining that, like, if you accept a job and you start work, then even if they don't pay you, you may be obligated to continue working unless you have a clause in your contract that says failure to pay, to make a payment will result in a stop work. Some states, again, depends on your state, but like, that could be a situation where, like, you didn't realize that if you're not getting paid, you can't stop because you've already agreed to do this work. So there's so many little things that, having a contract in place can really help you mitigate, a lot of risk when doing work like this.
Right. Yeah, it's so valuable to be able to have all that into one place and have all your eggs covered.
Yep.
That way you're not getting all these cracks and losing. To set the high expectations and the clear communication throughout the whole process and have that to where you can communicate that with the customer. And
Yep.
like you said, having the contract and clear scope of work, that's also going to add value because not everybody's going to do that. Your competitors ain't going to be doing it. So you have the opportunity to set yourself apart and create some distance between the price and the value that you're bringing to them.
Gonna look way more organized, way more professional. Again, you're just really setting yourself apart from the competition, like you said, Chris. And spending $2,000, $2,500 to have an attorney get you a contract specific to your business. I mean, if that keeps you out of a legal battle just one time, that just paid for itself, like, many times over. And so it's like, just again, you got to make sure that you're investing in the right moves so that you're setting yourself up for success and that you can scale the business. I've seen a lot of people that, building businesses, and then they kind of hit this critical mass, and now they're starting to play with larger jobs and larger, money. And it's like, man, one mistake, one loss on one job, I mean, that can sink your entire business.
Right. Yeah. And your cash flow and everything, that's all tied in. If you're not getting paid what you should be getting paid, and you're not getting paid on time, and that's going to greatly affect your bank account.
Yep.
And like I said, if you spend your energy and time trying to build these systems and have systems to help you, while it does cost you up front, the time is going to save you and the money is going to save you in the end is going to be more than well worth it.
100%. And I see people all the time that think, oh, I got, a couple $100,000 in the bank. Like, we got cash. We're doing good. But like, the reality is you may owe, twice as much in all of the bills and the expenses that you need to pay out. And so it's like, you can't just look at, your cash balance, or you see all this, these checks coming in. Like, you got to have that full picture of, okay, here's our money in, and here's how much we have left to pay out. What are those actuals? What's your cost to complete every project? Like, you should be able to know that, for every single job. And, that's going to really help you manage your cash flow.
Right. And your, sorry, lost what I was about to say, but yeah, having that and being able to track it and be consistent is really important. The days of just doing a handshake and hoping that everything's going to go okay and is beyond that now. And it actually helps you bring more value when you can show that and be more professional and branded and be an expert rather than just vaguely going over the job.
Oh.
No real job description, no contract. And then no wonder why your price is going to be a little higher, because you're doing all the stuff you're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And because that's where it needs to be, because you're taking account all the other things that the other person probably isn't. Like I said, being able to have a basic startup of, hey, this project usually costs us this much money. They're going to add a little bit, but you already have a template in place where it's going to cost you at least X amount of money, and go from there, rather than just throwing darts at the board and hope it sticks on the price.
Yep.
And you're not making a big mistake. And also, having a system like this helps you with all the leads that you have coming in, being able to keep track of them. And because I know when I first started, I didn't keep in contact with my past clients. And that was I know I wasted a lot of time and effort trying to get new clients when I could have been keeping in touch with my clients that had already paid me money and I've already worked for.
Yep. Yeah, with JobTread, so one of our features we've got where you can take like a web form and essentially embed it on your website. So like if you have a contact us or request a quote or something like that, it'll automatically feed into into JobTread. And then like you said, I mean, tracking the lead source, where'd they come from, like knowing how long have they been in there, like, I mean, where are you at, have you what's the next step, when's the next task, like making sure that you're documenting everything that's happened, so that again, even if you don't win the job today, you may circle back in 3 months, 6 months, hey, has anything changed? I mean, maybe they chose to just put the whole thing on pause until they had a little bit more money, or maybe they went with someone else and they weren't satisfied. Like being able to kind of keep track of your leads and where they're at in the process. Or again, I'm a big believer too. I mean, every 6 months, follow up with all those past customers. Wait until a little time's passed, but hey, they may have additional projects for you. So much easier to go and do more work with an existing customer than to have to try to land a new one.
Right. Yeah, no, I've had a situation in my home improvement business where I did work for them down the line, and they had other work done previously, and they didn't know that I did flooring, or they didn't know I did anything because I didn't do what I needed to do to stay in top of their mind.
Yeah.
So having something where you can know where the lead came from, and even just be able to contact them, whether it's for a warranty call or some reason to get back in front of them, is very important.
Yep.
And that just gives you an extra ability not to have to generate so many leads because they've already spent money with you.
Yeah.
And if you did a good job, they already like you and trust you. So that gives them all you have to do is stay in front of them, and you have extra chances to build your lifetime client value.
Yep.
Instead of just saying, oh, well, they're not contacting me, so they must not want any work done.
Yeah.
And like you said, not every person that contacts you right now is going to buy right this second. They may just be in the information gathering stage, or they may have something come up. But if you don't keep in contact with them, they're going to forget you.
Yep. 100%.
Because I've had past clients that weren't clients, but they waited a year or two because something came up or they had some kind of other issue. But when they're ready, you got to be on top of the mind. So you're
Yep.
one of the first options they have.
Yeah, and the more detailed notes you can take too, again, just all the pre-qualification questions, making sure is this the decision maker? What are their needs? Maybe what do we think the first project is? But are there potential add-on projects later? You got to document that. Otherwise, there's no way you're going to remember, even if you remember their name. The more people you talk to, it just goes in one ear out the other. So like documentation is key, and that's where CRM is really helpful.
Right. Because writing it down in a notebook or a piece of paper, you're not probably going to have all that information. You may have somebody's number written somewhere and no name or no description or address, and that's not going to be very useful.
Yeah.
Being able to have all that and be able to have the system and process where you can be consistent and do that on a regular basis. Like I said, it's not only going to help business owners keep track and grow their business, you're going to be adding more value to your clients as well. Because if you provided them with a great service, there's no reason why they still shouldn't be serviced after that and contacted. You shouldn't just do the work and never talk to them again.
Yeah.
And being able to do that and ask better questions, then you can. Not all people are tire kickers. Some people are into information gathering process, and they just have no idea what something like that's going to cost. So being able to have that and be consistent with it, it's going to help you bring your clients better value, and you're going to be able to track everything, and that's going to be a better use of your time and money.
100%. And I think another thing, as you track, the type of customers you're getting, or the type of jobs you're doing, like by having a system like JobTread, like you can start to really figure out, what are my best types of jobs, or who are my best customers where I'm making, the highest profit. If you find that you're doing a bunch of jobs that, maybe, just for example, let's say you're a painter, and then, sometimes you take on some concrete work, and you're only making, 25%, profit on your concrete, but you're making 50% on your painting. Well, keep painting and do less concrete, like really focus on your best type of job, your most profitable jobs, and that's going to help you align all of your marketing, and really kind of who you're targeting and what types of work, that's how you scale a business, is go do more of the things that are working, and less of the things that aren't. But if you don't know what's working, then, you're just shooting in the dark, you're blind, and, you got to get a handle on it.
Right. Yeah. Being able to narrow down your ideal client and your ideal project is huge in tracking what you're doing, like you said. Because if you're doing projects, like you said, and you think you're making 30-40% on it, and you're not, and that's an issue.
Yep.
And if you find that some of the clients that you work for are real estate agents or builders, and you can't quite get the profit to where you want it to be, then you can focus on, maybe it's homeowners, maybe it's people in a certain area,
Yep.
or maybe it's just interior work or exterior work or whatever it is. You can narrow it down and focus what you're doing, your marketing, and spend your time doing that.
Yep.
And yeah, that'll definitely help. Is there anything else about JobTread that you believe that would bring some value to clients?
I think we've covered quite a bit. I guess I'd say kind of the last thing that is probably fairly unique to us. I mean, my entire team has come out of the construction industry, so we have a lot of varying kind of experience in different types of construction. I think one of the big benefits to companies being able to join with us is not only you're getting the great software, but every single customer has a dedicated customer success manager. You've got a person who has helped implement this for hundreds, if not thousands of others, and they can essentially, help you learn from other people's challenges so that you don't make the same mistakes that everybody else has made. We can help get you set up for success. We provide a ton of we have live trainings every day, a bunch of recorded trainings, and then we also have, we do like our annual user conference every January here in Dallas. So, it's an opportunity to come, in person, get to network, with people who may have similar types of businesses, but in different parts of the country. We've seen just a tremendous amount of value where people can, kind of share, stories and networking like that, because a lot of times people don't always feel as comfortable, kind of participating in groups like that in your local community, because, maybe your competition right there, but we're able to help kind of connect you with similar types of businesses with, people in different areas. And, I think that's really one of the big things about JobTread is that community around it. All the customers, we've got, a couple thousand people in our Facebook group, that are just really active and involved in helping each other, build better businesses. And so, I think it's a great opportunity for you to not only get some software, but also some really great experience that can hopefully set you up, to build a very successful and scalable business.
Okay. So not only the CRM system and all the benefits from that, but a community where you can get help and information you need to grow your business, and like-minded people to put you in the right direction.
Yep.
On top of all the other benefits that you're going to be able to get through having the consistency of a system like JobTread.
That's right.
And what kind of investment does somebody have to make, and is there a contract to join your system?
Yeah, great question. So, our pricing is all fully transparent. It's on our website, jobtread.com/pricing. But basically it's $199 a month, so that essentially includes your first user, unlimited everything. And then if you wanted to add additional users, which, really it's what we call internal. So those are like employees. Those are an extra $20 per user per month. All of your subcontractors, suppliers, customers, those are what we call external users. Those are free and unlimited. So it's just basically, it's the $199 is the base plus $20 per user. Once you get over 10 users though, and every 10 users, it drops by $5 per additional user. But then, and we have an annual. So if you did want to, prepay for the year, you get 20% discount, on top of, basically just, taken off of the price. So, now that one, obviously you're prepaying for 12 months, versus, month to month. There's, you can cancel at any time. We also have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you want to sign up for a month, try it out. If you get in there and you hate it and say, whatever it may be, you can cancel at any time. So within the first 30 days, we'll just refund your money. Or if you get in there and you love it, you want to upgrade to the annual, you can do that also. We'll let you make that change and get the 20% savings at any point.
Okay. So the best way for people to reach out to you is to go through your website.
Yep. So www.jobtread.com. And, there's tons of videos, information, a lot of different resources are available on the website. as well as on our YouTube channel. We got a ton of content over there where you can see the product in action. But I'd encourage anyone, if you're interested, you can hit the schedule a demo button at the very top of the website. That'll essentially let you sign up for a free demo. Our team will essentially take the time to walk you through it, make sure it's going to be a good fit for you. And at the end of that, you can decide if you want to sign up or not. Or if you want to dive right in and just get your hands on it, you can just hit the sign up button on the top of our website as well. And like I said, you'll pretty much pretty soon thereafter you'll get reached out to by our customer success team. They're going to be your ongoing point of contact. So they'll essentially want to learn a little bit more about your business, how you do things. If you have existing proposals, estimates that you can share with them, or any budget templates, whatever you've got that you can share, you're able to send that to us. We'll help get that imported into the system, get you set up, do all the training. So if you want us to train you, if you want us to train your whole team, we're here, we're a resource. We want to help get you set up for success.
Okay, I appreciate it, Eric, and I believe that is very valuable information for somebody that's looking to build, grow, and maximize their business. And I appreciate you joining us, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you.